welcome to another episode of the One-on-One podcast. I am joined, as always, by Kathy Baker. And, I think we sometimes forget to give a shout out to our good friend Ryan, who's behind the scenes. And a lot of you don't know what he looks like, but he's here and he's doing it all.
Absolutely. He is the magic. He has the magic touch.
He does. And I think, Kathy, we do need to say that he's here on one leg. He had to be driven here because it's his driving leg, and he's still here helping us record the podcast. And so we are very thankful for Ryan.
I wish I had the magic touch, but clearly that touch isn't in my feet. Ruptured my Achilles this past week, so I am just kind of hobbling on by, but I'm here.
Yes.
And thank you, because I hear that is like one of the most painful injuries. So I appreciate your tenacity and your relentlessness, easy for me to say, for you to do this podcast. So thank you, Ryan. And you are magic. You do video, you do amazing photography, you do this podcast with audio. So you're the man of the hour. Thank you.
I mean, you guys are great. You guys are a great team. I mean, Kobe was able to shoot 2 free throws on a ruptured Achilles. So I think I could shoot one episode of a podcast right now.
Don't you wonder how he did that? Whoa,
man.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Adrenaline.
I had to be carried off the field when it happened to me. So I was just like, I don't know how that dude walked.
Wild. Well, Kathy, let's get started because we have an awesome guest today. Let's just backtrack really quick. Ryan and I are dealing with a little bit of a noise issue in our studio. So Kathy and our guest are going to be doing the majority of the talking today just to try to avoid any of the audio stuff that we are dealing with. But let's introduce Jacki Tait. Jacki is a bit of everything. She's an author, a realtor, a speaker, a coffee drinker, a jack of all trades, master of everything. So Jacki, welcome.
Jacki is to Realty ONE Group what Kobe was to basketball. She does it all.
Hey, I like it.
That's a bold statement.
We just elevated my friend Jacki Tait. Jacki, welcome to the podcast today. Tell everyone, and I want you to brag. You are so modest, and so many within our network. You are one of our own. You are a member of our family. And I think because of your modestness, a lot of our membership does not understand. A lot of our network doesn't understand who Jacki Tait is. So brag a little bit, girl.
Well, first of all, thank you. First of all, I'm going to tell you that Kathy Baker, I am going to take that quote and put that on every website I have.
There you go. I want you to.
Hey, I'm really glad to be with you guys. My name is Jacki Tait. Like they said, I kind of do all of the things. I've been in real estate since 2002. I have been a professional speaker since 2004. And I had a chance to personally mentor with Les Brown, who, if y'all don't know who Les Brown is, definitely go look him up. Do a Google search, Les Brown motivation. He will change your world. And I got to personally mentor with him in 2021. We wrote a book together. It's this one right here called Ignite the Hunger in You. And I have another book coming out called Ignite Your Faith, and that comes out in June. And then these are both collaborations. I'm also working on a book, a solo book that I'll be writing by myself with my publisher. So yeah, I do a lot of fun things. I also do the agent success coaching program for Realty ONE Group Mountain Desert. And so I head up that training program where I help train our new agents. They get to work with an individual mentor in each of their specific locations. And then I do coaching on a weekly basis with all of them. We have, I think, 11 different offices. And so they show up and coach with me once a week as well. And then I do a national-based coaching program for real estate professionals who want to who want to up level. I call it up level. So they want to up level their success and get off the real estate commission roller coaster. So
Great. What we would love to talk to you about today, and I really hate that my friend and my partner, Josh, is having to be a little bit quiet because this really is his wheelhouse. But what we wanted to talk about today is how do agents up level? I love that, as far as getting in front of people and making their name known and that kind of thing. How would you frame that up, and what would be your words of wisdom for them to get ahead of the market?
Great question. I'll start with this. When we do the coaching program, so the up-level coaching program is 6 months, it's a 6-month commitment, and we meet twice a month. And we spend the first 2 months, so 4 sessions, 2 whole months digging into your foundation. We do a little bit of, instant wins, I like to call them, but we don't really get into the day-to-day habits of real estate until month 3, because I think it's so important. You have got to know why you're doing what you're doing. If you got into real estate and just said, hey, I think it's because I can make great money. If I just sell one house, I can walk away with $30,000 and I'm set. You're in this for the wrong reason. So we really dig into your why. We get that put in front of you. We dig into the importance of habits, and we clear out some mental junk that's keeping you from your success. So that's step 1. And I can't stress enough how important it is. And from there, we get into the habits of real estate. So we've all heard different quotes about success and how success is based on your habits and things like that. But I am a true believer in that. So we really dig into getting your day-to-day small wins set up, because all those small wins are what adds up to your big wins in the end, and keeps you in a consistent flow of business, therefore a consistent flow of closings, meaning a consistent flow of income.
Right. And we talk a lot, Josh and I talk a lot about real estate is simple, not easy. And it's getting those little pieces in place that become a system and that run almost on their own is what's going to be the key to the success, right?
Well, of course. So, here's the thing. And I like to tell people that I am one of the perfect people to help coach you into creating systems, because my systems are what I rely on to create my success. I will tell you that before I had my system set up properly, I was 100% all over the place. I was on that commission roller coaster. Obviously, I wear a few different hats, but I had to have my real estate system set up in such a way that for me, it is just an automatic daily thing before I could branch out into really being an effective speaker, author, coach, all of those good things. So your systems are what are going to make you soar. And so definitely get those set up first and foremost.
It's funny, but one of my favorite, you and I share a lot of Les's quotes that we love. I've got a lot of them up, but one of my favorite from James Clear from Atomic Habits is, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems, right? So
100%
systems in place. So if we wanted to talk about, we were talking about your why, which is always so hard for agents to discover. Well, I find that the clarity of that is always such a challenge. We talk about systems. How would you say what can agents do to really stand out in the market? What can they do to really up level and be that agent that people go to?
The very first thing you have to do is care. You have to care more about your clients and their needs and situations than you care about your commissions and your closings. And if you can do that, then I always look at it and say the level of our production, the level of our commissions, the level of my income is really just something that I look at as it's a benchmark. It helps me keep track of things, but it's not my goal. It's not my why. And my goal and my why has everything to do with the fact that I get to help people's dreams come true on a day-to-day basis. When I go on a listing appointment and I am sitting at their dining room table and I get to help them understand the best way to sell their house, I get to help their dreams come true, whether that means they're empty nesters and they're downsizing, or they are expanding their family and they need a new home. Maybe they have to have their aging parents move in with them. So we have to find something with a guest house or multifamily, whatever the case may be. I'm helping them move on to the next phase of their life. And I get to do that on a day-to-day basis and be a part of that on their behalf. And so if you really want to stand out, it is showing that that's your, you don't have to put your why the same way I do in terms of making dreams come true, but really saying, hey, I care more about helping you than I care about helping me. So when you put that person first, you can't help but make your own goals come to fruition.
May I reframe that and say be transformational versus transactional?
I love that.
Okay.
I love that. And that's the thing that will help keep clients for life. But it also is balanced on a twofold level. So you can't just show them how much you care. You also have to be doing real estate related things for them so that they remember how good you are as a real estate agent, because you do have to walk that fine line. I do have clients who have become lifelong friends, and I love that. But I always am keeping in touch with them about specific real estate related activities as well. I'm not just saying, okay, now I've helped you with real estate and now we're friends and hey, how are the kids and how's this going and how's that going? I'm actually reminding them. For example, we just ran into this issue where if you're not doing a CMA, so if you help a buyer get into a house, if you're not doing a CMA for that person, a comparative market analysis, at least once a year on their anniversary, or reaching out to them and saying, hey, are you interested in knowing what your property's valuation is right now? Something to that effect. They forget about you. We have to remember that clients, especially if you help them on the buy side, they sometimes don't even equate you to being able to list and sell their property on the flip side. And vice versa. If you are a listing agent and you sit in front of them and you are able to sell their home, when it comes time to buying their home, they think, oh, I don't want to bother you because you're so busy listing homes that I don't want to take you out of that mode so that you have to start showing me homes. And so it's really important that you're not only staying in touch with them and building that relationship, showing them how much you care, but doing real estate based activities so that they remember you when it comes to real estate.
Is that a combination of consulting and concierge kind of thing?
You could put it that way. 100%.
Okay.
Well, I think I'm going to speak up while we don't have to deal with the audio. But Jacki, I think to sum it up, and correct me if I'm wrong, you know, the care is a huge part of it. But when you truly care, it also makes you a good real estate agent. So you're showing not only your professionalism, but you are passionate about what you do.
Absolutely. That's a great way. That's a great way to frame it.
So Kathy, and once again, I'm going to speak quickly, but obviously we are in a particular market and we're starting to see, you know, some light at the end of the tunnel, but can you maybe talk about how you are coaching or what your personal steps are through this shifting market, as Kathy likes to call it?
All right. So here's what I'm going to say is that if you are stuck in a mindset, and this is for every realtor out there, if you're stuck in a mindset that business is scarce, this market is shifting, so people aren't doing things, and thereby I'm going to suffer, then that's the reality you will see in your business. Mm-hmm. I do not even have that mindset. And here's why. We are in a unique opportunity where people have to live somewhere. People are always living somewhere and life events will happen. So we may not have the high level of, you know, hey, I just want to downsize, but I'm okay right now because my mortgage is at, 2.75%. And if I were to sell and downsize, I'm going to have to get a mortgage at 6-7%. So I'm just going to stay put. That activity may be on hold for now, but people have other situations that happen. Their family expands. They have death in the family. So their family, they need to reorganize that situation. Or you do have people who have, I've done a lot of 1031 exchange business this year, believe it or not. And so you've got people who are selling out of one market and they have to place their money and they have to place it fast. Yeah. And so you have a lot of different situations where people are still needing your services. And so if you focus on that, you're not going to have that lack. And so that would be my first tip. And we can get into things that, are going to come to fruition because yes, the market is shifting and that is a reality. I'm not saying you ignore reality. I'm saying you focus on a different subset of the reality of today's market and try and really put your foot on the gas to go in that direction.
I like it.
Love that. What would be the third thing?
The third thing of
one more thing to set yourself apart or to stand out in the market.
All right. So the third thing is you got to show up. I'm going to tell you this with a 100% certainty that right now people are more desperate for human connection than ever before. And I think a lot of people are still stuck in the mindset of, oh, people don't want to hear from me. They don't want their phone to ring if I can text them. That attitude is very pre-COVID. And I want people to understand that you've got to get out of that mindset shift. You've got to shift your mindset rather, and start really thinking about how people want to hear from you. So if you make a goal of a certain number of phone calls every single day, and I'm a big believer of a 5-day work week. In real estate, you can drive yourself into the ground if you think you got to show up 365, 24/7. Don't do that to yourself. Now, that doesn't mean that if you're working 5 days a week on the habits of real estate, the other 2 days a week, you may have to show up because people are going to be responding to the work and the habits you've been doing those 5 days a week. But if you're sitting down and intentionally making phone calls to your database 5 days a week and showing up to put yourself out there, that's really what's going to set you apart. And I can tell you that that is not any different in any market. If you're in an up market, a down market, a sideways market, it does not matter. If you're not showing up, making your phone calls to your database, you're going to have a struggle. But if you show up and make those phone calls, make that a priority in your business, then you are going to see your business respond in kind.
Not only that, but do you know what I hear all the time is complaints, and it's not only from buyers and sellers, it's from realtors trying to place referrals with other realtors, is how many people don't answer their phone. Mm-hmm. And they go to voicemail and voicemail is full. And Josh, I know you're younger and you and Ryan are probably saying, gosh, people still make phone calls. But to Jacki's point, the average, people, number one, they want voice-to-voice contact, and even if they don't answer the phone, call them. You've got to place that. And if your phone rings as a realtor, please answer it. Do you hear that, Jacki? Do you hear that people just don't even answer their phone?
100%. And to your point, there's of course going to be opportunities where people are going to call you and you can't answer your phone and it has to go to voicemail. So please clear out your voicemail on a consistent basis. There's nothing more frustrating than the user you're reaching, the voicemail is full and what have you. And I will tell you that it's really interesting to me because some of the people who like to chat the most are my younger clients, my Gen Zs and my millennials.
Talk about that. Wow.
They love when I call them and they want to chit chat and they want to get, and I think it's because you have to remember that they've been raised on social media. They've been raised on text, don't call. And so for them in their wheelhouse, it's actually kind of a novelty to have the phone call. And so, yeah, I think it works out really great to do that. I think the other thing too is that people are very worn out of social media. We are worn out of the constant flow of messages coming in our direction. So when you get on a voice-to-voice call, it demands a little bit more of your attention and it forces you to slow down. And whether people realize that that's something they appreciate or not, I have found in my own personal book of business that it's really well received.
Well, and I know another thing that you do as far as personal contact, you do a lot of work through send out cards. As a matter of fact, thank you for that delicious brownie that you sent to me. But you do a lot of things like that are personal touches. So I love that. I love the showing up, and however you show up is how you show up. One thing that I would love to talk with you in the future about, because Josh, I'm not watching the time, I never do, but we may be getting we may be getting close. But one thing I'd like to ask Jackie is if she would come back and talk with us about video and how to stand out in video, because to me, the people that won't answer the phone maybe and won't respond to a text will watch a video.
I would love to come and talk to you about video. I will tell you what, some of my best clients are people who found us on YouTube.
Really? Mm-hmm. How about that? Josh, what do you think of that?
I would absolutely love it. Let's do it. Before we end this, I do, because Jackie, it sounds like your systems are very dialed. You are very good at what you do, and you do a lot of things. So I want to know, what is your guilty pleasure?
Well, actually, funny enough, I will tell you that my guilty pleasure is YouTube.
Oh, well, there you go.
When I literally want to just kind of chill out or whatever, I will watch vlogs on YouTube. I'm obsessed with different vlogs, and they're so fun to just watch how different people live their lives and show up on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, that would be when I'm trying to like, just leave me alone, I'm going to disconnect. I watch vlogs on YouTube.
I love it. So even your guilty pleasure is still helping you.
That's right. That's right.
I guess so. I mean, I do tune into YouTube and podcasts and things. I love video podcasts. I love that this is what you guys are doing, because I love to put on a podcast on YouTube. And even if I'm like in my car, YouTube's usually the place I'll go. And then, of course, I'm just listening to the podcast. I'm not watching it. But it is definitely something. So like in the morning, I will start my day by watching a faith-based or a motivational vlog, or just, little short video, something like that. And then I usually will tune into a real estate success vlog or podcast as well. And so that helps me get my mind in the right place to start the day.
I love it.
I love that. Not starting with the news. We talked about that. You joined Mark and I on Waking Up to Win, and we talked about be careful what you listen to. And what is Les Brown's quote? What you tune into, you turn into. Absolutely. Josh, that's a great note to end on.
That's what I was going to say. Let's end on that. But yes, Jackie, we would love to have you back. We will be discussing video. So please, please, please tune into that episode. And once again, thank you, Jackie, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We thank you for joining us today on another episode of One on One, a Realty ONE Group podcast. We are powered by One.U and ask if you have suggestions, recommendations, or questions, please email learning@realtyonegroup.com. And remember, pay close attention to the details, listen to understand, not respond, and always be a resource, not a sales pitch.